too.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the City of Winter Haven's commission meeting for the 14th day of April, 2025 at 6 p.m. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Dollison.
Here.
Commissioner Mercer.
Here.
Commissioner Dantzler.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Yates.
Here.
And Mayor Birdsong.
Here. We will have an invocation by Pastor Tim Clark of the Haven Worship Center, and we be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Vanessa Castillo, MMC City Clerk. Please stand if able.
Let's all stand as we pray tonight. Father, we're so thankful for the opportunity to live in a great city like Winter Haven. We're thankful, Lord, for a great team of commissioners and a great mayor. Father, we pray for your hand upon this meeting tonight. Lord, we thank you for giving our commissioners, our mayor, the leaders of our city, the wisdom of Solomon as they make decisions concerning our progress. Lord, we thank you for your hand upon each one of them and upon every citizen that calls Winter Haven their home. We thank you, Lord, that you are leading us and you're guiding us. And tonight we know as we trust in you with all of our heart, you've promised you would lead us and guide us and direct us. So we trust you for these things and we thank you for them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. We have 3 presentations this evening. I'm going to ask Deputy City Manager MJ Carnevale to assist me with this. He will start off with item 5A, which is our Earth Day proclamation, and receiving this will be Brittany Hart, Director of Public Works.
Whereas Winter Haven, Florida, as part of a global community, desires to take action to create positive environmental change. And whereas on April 22nd, 1970, approximately 20 million Americans came together to celebrate the first Earth Day. And whereas Earth Day is now observed on this day internationally and sanctioned by the United Nations, and whereas the City of Winter Haven is committed to promoting science-based sustainable environmental practices, and whereas in working towards a sustainable future for our children, we must also provide them the necessary tools to solve the environmental problems of the future. And whereas through constant and friendly communication about environmental issues, citizens will tend to be more creative, sensitive, experimental, and flexible in resolving the challenges faced. And whereas an International Earth Day can draw people together in appreciation of their mutual home, planet Earth, and bring a global feeling of community through realization of our mutual dependence on each other. Now, therefore, Nathaniel J. Birdsong, Jr., Mayor of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, does hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2025 as Earth Day in the City of Winter Haven and urges all citizens to support efforts of environmental literacy and contribute to a healthy and sustainable future. In witness whereof, he has hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, to be affixed this 14th day of April 2025. Signed, Nathaniel J. Birdsong, Jr., Mayor. Attest, Vanessa Castillo.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I just wanted to say thank you. We appreciate your support in recognizing Earth Day through this proclamation. As a team here in Winter Haven, we strive to celebrate Earth Day every day in all of the things that we do, whether that is water conservation, our urban forestry efforts, our recycling collection, and our litter efforts to keep Winter Haven green and clean. We're always looking for ways to improve Winter Haven and our planet, and we're able to do so through your support. This year, to celebrate Earth Day, we are proud to host the first ever Greater Winter Haven cleanup efforts. And we are inviting the community to join us in picking up around their homes and their neighborhoods, their businesses, their schools, and with us and our team on April the 23rd. And we have invited you all to do that as well and join us in that collection to make Winter Haven clean and green and beautiful. So again, we thank you for your continued support and your commitment to environmental stewardship and all that you do to allow us to move these things forward. Thank you.
Mayor and Commissioners, item 5B this evening is a proclamation titled Junior League of Greater Winter Haven Day. And receiving this proclamation will be Ellie Carter, President, and Nikki Sterling, DEIB Chair for the Junior League of Greater Winter Haven, if they are here and would like to come forward. And Deputy City Manager Carnevale will present this proclamation.
Whereas the Junior League of Greater Winter Haven has been a vital force in the community for over 40 years, dedicated to promoting volunteerism, developing the potential of women, and improving the community through the effective action and leadership of trained volunteers. And whereas the Junior League of Greater Winter Haven has made a lasting impact through its projects and initiatives that promote literacy, health, education, and youth development, enriching the lives of countless residents through Winter Haven and beyond. Whereas in continuing their mission to enhance the well-being of our community, the Junior League of Greater Winter Haven has generously committed to placing the Little Library at the Reuben Williams Sports Complex, fostering a love of reading and learning for children and families who visit the park. And whereas the Little Library Project embodies the spirit of community engagement, providing an opportunity for residents to take a book, share a book, and connect with one another through the joy of reading. And whereas the City of Winter Haven recognizes the Junior League of Winter Haven for its unwavering commitment to service, leadership, and community empowerment. And we are proud to celebrate their efforts in building a brighter future for all. Now, therefore, Nathaniel J. Birdsong Jr., Mayor of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, does hereby proclaim April 14th, 2025 as Junior League of Greater Winter Haven Day in the City of Winter Haven in recognition of their 40-plus years of dedication to improving the lives of citizens and for their continued service to our community. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Junior League of Winter Haven for their ongoing contributions and look forward to the continued positive impact of the Little Library at Reuben Williams Sports Complex. In witness whereof, he has hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, to be affixed this 14th day of April, 2025. Signed, Nathaniel J. Birdsong Jr., Mayor. Attest, Vanessa Castillo, City Clerk.
On behalf of the Junior League of Greater Winter Haven, we just want to say thank you to the city for partnering with us on the Little Library and giving us that space. And if you guys want to go.
All right. Look here first and then move over there. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. Don't move. Just look over here. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Mayor and Commissioners, for this next one, we're going to make it a little crowded up there at the front of the dais. I'm going to invite the Winter Haven High School girls basketball team to come stand down front. While they're getting settled, I'd also like to invite to the podium, I believe we have Principal Williams, we have Superintendent Hyde, School Board Member Keys, and School Board Member Sarah Beth. School Board, Miss Wyatt. Miss Gibson. Come on, LaDon. So, if you'll indulge me with this proclamation, whereas on March 8th, 2025, the Winter Haven High School girls basketball team triumphed as Florida High School Athletic Association state champions at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland, Florida. Their relentless dedication and exceptional teamwork have forever illuminated our community's spirit and pride. And whereas the Winter Haven High School girls basketball team is to be respected, recognized, and rewarded for their accomplishment. 3 years back-to-back from 2022 through 2024, they fell to defeat. In 2025, they rose to victory, avenging their back-to-back nemesis squad. Whereas in 2025, the 24-25 team's success is exemplified by court maestros Serenity Hardy, Quinaya Sanders, Jaden Williams, Derasia Pitts, Azaria Stiles, Elise Mercredi, Amaya Shaw, Aubrey Hall, Lauren Jordan, Alicia Smith, Faith Thompson, Victoria Hall, and Dashanique Henry. The Winter Haven High School girls basketball team has achieved an enduring legacy of excellence, establishing themselves as a dynasty under the leadership of head coach Johnny Lawson, assistant head coach Billy Washington, and their dynamic coaching staff. And whereas since taking the helm in 2008, coaches Lawson and Washington have steered this exceptional team to an astounding 425 victories, embodying resilience, dedication, and mastery of the game. The Winter Haven High School girls basketball team has won 17 district championships in the past 17 years, 15 regional championships in the past 17 years, 15 Final Four playoff appearances in the past 17 years, brought home 4 state championships in the last 9 years, and proudly represented our city with 2 national championship appearances. And whereas this program has nurtured countless athletes who have advanced to compete in Division I colleges, attend prestigious institutions such as West Point Academy, and achieve professional success, thus exemplifying excellence on the court and in life. The leadership of coaches Lawson and Washington have fostered a culture of teamwork, sportsmanship, and high achievement, inspiring generations of student athletes and cementing the Winter Haven High School girls basketball team's status as an undeniable force in high school athletics. Now, therefore, Nathaniel J. Birdsong Jr., Mayor of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, does hereby proclaim this day, April 14th, 2025, as Winter Haven High School Girls Basketball Team Day in the City of Winter Haven in recognition of their extraordinary achievements in the dynasty built by coaches Lawson and Washington. May their unparalleled success continue to inspire our community and future generations. In witness whereof, he is hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, to be affixed this 14th day of April, 2025. Signed, Nathaniel J. Birdsong, Jr., Mayor. Attest, Vanessa Castillo, City Clerk.
Well, as principal of Winter Haven High School, and I know Superintendent Hyde and everybody who's behind me and our school board member, we're so extremely proud. And what a proud moment with those last 5 seconds on the scoreboard. And we knew that if they got that ball in, they could tie the game. But when that girl didn't make it, it was just rejoicing on the sidelines, screaming and yelling, and we could even hear the whole city behind us screaming and yelling just as well. And then afterwards, I got the ability to go see the girls throw water and everything else on Coach Lawson and the excitement. But we're so very proud of each and every one of you. We know that you work very hard and you put a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I guess I could say. And extremely proud of each and every one of you. Thank you.
Yes, having been at the game, you could make it a little less exciting in the future in the last 20 seconds, but we are so, so proud of you from start to finish. You all are not just amazing athletes, but amazing young ladies, and we are so, so proud of you in Winter Haven. I also want to thank the City Commission for allowing them to have a parade this week, unlike some of our other Florida cities that probably should be having parades this week. So we greatly appreciate you here in Winter Haven because these girls are incredible, and we are always thrilled to honor them.
Good evening, ladies. As superintendent, I cannot tell you, or I have no words to explain how proud we are of you. I'll tell you a quick story. Last year, I attended for your Final Four, and unfortunately, I watched you lose a game going into the championship. This year, I watched the Final Four. Stellar game, stellar performance. And it's not just about your athletic prowess. It's how you collaborate, coordinate as a team that most impressed me. I was not able to come to your final game because of another commitment. And so now apparently I'm not allowed to come to any state championships because I'll bring bad luck in the future. But again, we are so incredibly proud of you. I also want to thank your families, all of our coaches, all of our community members that continue to support student athletics. You know, and the best thing about the phrase student athletes is student comes first. And we are incredibly proud of you. And the role models that you now represent within our community for our younger students looking up and aspiring to greatness, you are those people right now. And many of you looked up to other individuals and found your paths to success. So we're very proud of you. Congratulations. Take it all in, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
So as we prepare for a photo here, I do want to share with those in attendance and those listening online that there is a parade that will take place in honor of this state championship basketball team that will occur Wednesday evening, originating from Denison Memorial Stadium and arriving in downtown at Central Park, followed by a program in the park to further celebrate their success. And we'd like to invite everybody to come out to be a part of that.
On the count of three, 1, 2, 3. One more. Right here in the middle. You got another one over there? Two over there?
Thank you. Mayor and Commissioners, that concludes our presentations for this evening.
All right. We have no developments of note. Commissioners, you have the minutes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve the March 10th, 2025 regular city commission meeting minutes, as well as the March 19th, 2025 city commission agenda review minutes, and the March 24th, 2025 regular city commission meeting minutes.
Thank you. I'll close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to any of these minutes may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, the minutes are adopted.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we have several people that have signed up and they're interested in the quiet zones. So I think I'll just go ahead and let them do that now.
So that's not an item on the
It's
agenda,
not
but
on
we're
the agenda.
prepared to give you an update on that as well once we let the audience.
All right, the first person is Debbie. Say it loud. Kedros. All right, Debbie K., would you come forward, state your name and address for the record? You have 5 minutes.
I'll be less than that. My name is Debbie Kadrovich. My address is 2433 Bates Avenue, Southwest, Winter Haven, Florida. First, I want to say thank you, commissioners, for your service to this city. I know it's not easy, and I know that because one of my best friends was Jim Powell. And I met Jim Powell in September of '86. We were friends throughout his life. And I'm really nervous. I hate speaking like this, but Kim, his wife, is still one of my best friends. In 2015, I stood before the city council and requested quiet zones. Lakeland had them in 2014. JP was not on the council at that time, but he said he would run again, and his platform would be quiet zones. He was reelected in 2015, and he kept his word. He kept the Quiet Zone project alive. He passed away April 24th, 2023. 2 weeks before he passed, I spent some time with him. He was feeling pretty good. He really didn't look like he was going to be leaving us and going to the kingdom in 2 weeks, but he did. In fact, he was beaming. He said the quiet zones were going through, and they would be named in his honor. I can't tell you how happy and how proud he was in that moment. That was in another 2 weeks, 2 years ago. It's been in the works for 10 years. I brought it up 10 years ago. I'd like to be alive to see him honored. I'd like his wife and son to be here and see him honored. I don't want to see it take another 10 or 20 years. It's important to the people, especially on the southwest side of town. The noise is unbearable. He wasn't born here, but he loved Winter Haven, and he loved all of you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Barbara Klein.
Good afternoon, evening. My name is Barbara Klein. The address is 1530 Kenwood Avenue Southwest. And I was also, I'm a friend of Debbie Kay's, and I was at a previous meeting at Nora Mayo Hall. I believe that was in 2015. I know that T. Michael was part of that, and he said that starting in 2016, that the Polk Transportation Planning Organization leaders were working towards quiet zones. And then the city followed suit and started doing their feasibility study. And like Debbie said, here we are all these years later, and it doesn't seem like we're any closer. It seems like the quiet zone passed away with JP. So the noise is just unbearable. I mean, it's all hours of the day and night. It awakes people out of their sleep. We don't get good night's sleep. It carries over into the next day. As a matter of fact, I was awake this morning from 2 to 4:30 because of the trains going by. It woke me out of my sleep, and then I was unable to get back to sleep for a while, and I keep hearing them go by. We just want answers. I mean, is this going forward? The area that we live in is called Tranquility Park. We refer to it now as Tranquility Park. And I know you're strategizing. I know you have to get approval from the Federal Railroad Administration. I know that you started all of those procedures, or at least I would assume that you have, to get to this point. But it's the continual blasting of the horns. Sometimes it's like the attitude of the engineer. I mean, some of them really lay on that horn. I've said before to my partner that sometimes I can like pick out, if I just knew their names, I could pick out who the engineer is, because some of them are soft and some of them are not. They're just relentless. And it's only going to get worse now that our governor has provided the $1.5 million for another intermodal facility up in Auburndale. I know that there were other routes that could have been taken. One of them was closer to Auburndale, but they ended up going through Winter Haven, and now we have the facility out on 60. And I just don't know if you understand what it is that we have to listen to. So I'm going to end with this because I didn't think you'd let me start with it. And that's just a few minutes of what we listen to every day and every night. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank
Luxinger.
Luxinger.
Yes, sir. Good evening, good council people, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. And I have 2 items. Is that allowable? 2 items?
You have 5 minutes.
Quickly?
Yes.
Okay?
Go ahead.
Well, you're probably going to be tired of hearing it, but I'd like to talk very quickly about the quiet zone. Mr. Birdwell?
Bird song.
Pardon?
Bird song. Oh, that was your address?
I'm sorry, I'm hard of hearing.
Just go ahead. Give your address for the
No,
record.
yeah, I was wondering, Mr. Bird, are you still the liaison to the CSX Railroad? You were in 2016.
The Transportation Planning
I
Organization.
stood here in 2016 and we had a discussion about the railroad, about double gates on, because I live on Lake Ship Drive and we have the double track set up.
Right.
And we were going to look into the railroad crossing at double gates so we could eliminate the horns. That was in 2016, sir. In 2022, in the newspaper was an article from the mayor that said, we're getting so close to having this done. Now that's in 2022. Well, here we are, sir, and we're still waiting.
Yes.
So I'm sure the babies, the children that live along those tracks would be more than welcome to have those engineers stop blowing the horn. The second item I have is on Lake Ship Drive, it's become a drag strip. And the people come down there and are just flying down there. I mean, 50, 60 miles an hour actually happens. In Virginia is a T that comes into Southwest Lake Ship Drive. If we could have a triple stop sign, one on Virginia and then one each way on Lake Ship Drive, that would stop these people, slow them down where they'd have to stop and then keep going. The emergency vehicles could just blow right through that stop sign and they wouldn't have a problem. So I know we can't talk about speed bumps, but I think a 3-way stop sign along there would work well. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, we appreciate all your comments, and it's good to see you, Mrs. Powell, to be in the audience. And I think we do have some news.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to the residents that came out and spoke this evening. I empathize greatly with the plight that you're experiencing with trains. Let me start off by saying J.P. Powell was the champion of the Quiet Zone initiative, and as far as we're concerned, remains the champion of the Quiet Zone initiative. I think I more so empathize with the frustration of residents in terms of trying to get resolution to this issue, because we are somewhat in the same boat in that as strong and as powerful as government can be at times, for some reason, dating back well into history, even greater authority was given to the railroad industry. And this is the battle that we have continued to wage since we first started discussing quiet zones back in 2016 timeframe. I'm going to ask the Deputy City Manager, MJ Carnevale, who has spent more time working on the quiet zones than anybody, with perhaps the exception of our city attorney, to give everyone an update that shows where we are today and where we think we're headed on this. So MJ, would you please take it away?
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. So the map here, just for reference, so it's one quiet zone that would be created between Coleman Road and North Lake Ship Drive, covering all 5 of those crossings. So that's what we've been working on. We've been working on that very hard for the last few years. So if you hit the next slide, AJ. So just, I thought we'd hit some major milestones of the things that have been done. And each of these, I'll say, has had some pretty major setbacks along the way, but we have gotten over a lot of these really big hurdles. So the first is completing a feasibility study. That is done. Budgeted for and designed the improvements. That was completed. Those designs then had to be sent out to FDOT, the railroad, Federal Railroad Administration, reviewed. So we have a fully designed project. We sent out for review. They comment back on it. We have to send it out again, get additional comments back. So we went through a couple gyrations of that with them. That finished and closed out. So then what we're able to do is issue a notice of intent. So that says that the city of Winter Haven intends to create a quiet zone at those crossings that are identified. These are the improvements we intend to put in place. Then the railroad industry has an opportunity to comment on that. Again, you go through a couple gyrations of that back and forth. That has ended. So what that means is that the city of Winter Haven now has the authority to create the quiet zone by issuing what's called a notice of establishment. So the City Commission has the authority to establish the quiet zone. But to establish the quiet zone, we have to build the safety improvements that were outlined in that engineering design work. And to build those safety improvements, we have to go into the CSX right-of-way. So they own a portion of land on either side of the railroad. And some of those improvements go into the right-of-way. So we need a right of entry permit from them. We've worked with them back and forth on that. We've brought that to the City Commission. The City Commission has approved that, and that right of entry permit is back with CSX pending their approval. I spoke with a member of their team today. I think we're in good shape on that. We're hoping to know in the next week or two. But it's like City Manager said, that is very much at their discretion. They don't have to enter that right of entry agreement necessarily. There isn't an incentive for them really to do that. So we're a little bit at their mercy, but we've been working very closely to try to get this done. So that's the last big step until we can begin the construction and then issue that notice of establishment. AJ, if you hit that next slide. So what does construction look like? So if we get through that right of entry phase, we have the permission to be able to do the work within that railroad right of way. We have funding budgeted in the city's transportation fund to build the improvements. And then once that right of entry is approved, we're about 180 days is probably the timeline. About half of that is we have to bid that work out because of the way the state requires us to procure any work that we hire. So we have to bid that work out, bring it back to City Commission for approval, and then the actual construction process. And we think that'll be about 90 days. Once that is done, we have to get an inspection by the Federal Railroad Administration. And then if that is all clear, the City Commission can then issue the notice of establishment to create the quiet zone, and the quiet zone will go into effect 21 days after that. And then at that point, it is at the driver's discretion whether or not they want to blow the horn. So they can blow the horn if they feel there's a need to blow the horn, but there's a fine process for that. So they can, that we can pursue fines on that. I don't know exactly what that looks like or how it plays out, but generally speaking, from what I understand, is they respect the quiet zone once it's created, and it's at the end, but it is at the engineer's discretion that if there's something on the tracks or they have a big concern, they can blow that horn, but they have to be able to justify it. So very close, I think, here. There's been, like I said, a lot of steps, lots of setbacks along the way, but I think we're in kind of the almost knock on wood, but I think we're in the home stretch on it.
Go one more.
And this is just an example of what the improvements look like. So you can see, I mean, for all of the time that we've spent on trying to get to this point, to construct this is pretty quick. So my hope is that once we get through that final step, the construction moves pretty quickly and we're able to get those established. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stand for any questions, City Commissioner.
Right. Thank you. Any questions?
MJ, quick question. Do we already have those items, or is that part of the bidding process?
Yeah,
They
we-
would have to go. Is
Yeah.
there any back order on those items? Any tariff issues?
It's a good
Any
question.
unforeseen circumstances where it's going to be a problem to get those materials?
Good evening, Commissioners. No, sir, we don't anticipate any issues getting those materials. It would be the contractor would order those, whoever it is awarded to, they would procure those and install them. The city ourselves, we just recently did that as a traffic calming effort on one of our major corridors, and we had no trouble getting them in. We were able to install them pretty quickly. It took us, I believe, our staff, it took us 2 days to get that installed.
Anyone else? I just was wondering, MJ, is there any approximate time frame you think that CSX may take?
At this point in my experience working with the railroad, I don't know. But I talked to them today. They don't see any issue with what we've presented back, and they're hoping to have it back to us pretty quickly within like the next 2 weeks here. But I don't know. It's at their discretion. They don't have to enter that right of entry agreement if they have an issue or a concern. But the agreement is what they presented to the city commission, and we've given that back to them. So hopefully, I think
Hopefully in 2
hopefully
weeks.
it's good. Yeah.
We
2
will
weeks.
certainly provide an
Yeah,
update
we'll
as
keep
soon
you
as we have that in hand. You will know, and I believe that we have contacts for some of the individuals that have reached out to us directly, and we will share that with them as well to help disseminate that information throughout the community.
So, T, the decision makers is not out at the Intermodal Logistics Center.
No, sir. This is the executive level of CSX overall, and I can tell you, we have worked with my contact who oversees the intermodal facility here in Winter Haven. She has been tremendous to work with in helping us identify people to reach out to when we can't get a hold of anybody, and trying to help, grease the wheels of progress here for us. So we're, as MJ said, we're cautiously optimistic. But as I said, the railroad has certain exemptions and authorities that at times trump what we can do in government at any level, at local, at state, and at federal. So we've tried to battle through this to the best of our abilities. Some of the people that were very staunch advocates for us within the FRA and through some of the engineering firms we have unfortunately also passed during this lengthy time period. That didn't necessarily set us back in having to go back to zero, but it was establishing new relationships with other key players along the way.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I think you indicated that they still have the discretion if the quiet zone is established, but they still have, well, the engineer has the discretion still to blow the horn.
If there's a car that's on the tracks, if there's a person that's on the tracks, if there's an obstruction, that would be justification for sounding that. Our understanding is that has to be documented as such, and can be, if it's not justified, fines can be levied.
But generally speaking, they do honor the quiet zones throughout.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, you have the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve the consent agenda in its entirety.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting and open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to any item on the consent agenda may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same signs. Hearing none, the consent agenda is adopted. All right, resolutions. Resolution R-2513, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission Resolution Number R-25-13, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, affirmatively accepting the conveyance of that property adjacent to Bowen Yard via warranty deed from 610 LLC to the City of Winter Haven, Florida, as more particularly described in the warranty deed executed and delivered by 610 LLC to the City of Winter Haven and recorded on February 4, 2025 in Official Records Book 13420, page 0474, Public Records of Polk County, Florida, and providing for an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, the City of Winter Haven and 610 LLC entered into a developers agreement regarding Bowen Yard, which is depicted on your screen. As part of that developers agreement, 610 agreed to construct 24 public parking spaces and a sidewalk utilizing both existing city public right-of-way and a property that was owned by 610 LLC. So the spaces you see, actually, half of them would be on private property, half of them would be on city property. That work has been completed as described, and the is now being transferred to the city legal title to the parking area adjacent to Bowen Yard. So while it was constructed originally on both private and public, 100% of that land is outlined in red will now be city property. Resolution R-2513 formally accepts the transfer of the property from 610 LLC to the City of Winter Haven. There's no financial impact associated with this resolution, and staff recommends the City Commission approve Resolution R-25-13 and authorize the city manager or designee to take all necessary actions related thereto. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Motion to approve R-2513.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting and open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to R-2513 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none. R-2513 is adopted. Resolution R-2514, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission Resolution R-25-14, a resolution confirming the acceptance of improvements, infrastructure, and dedications in favor of the public / City of Winter Haven as notated on that certain plat entitled Annabelle Estates, recorded in the Office of the Clerk of the Circuit Court in Fort Polk County, Florida, in Plat Book 213, pages 5 through 12, Public Records of Polk County, Florida, and authorizing the city manager to release the performance bond posted to guarantee completion of required improvements in infrastructure. General location subdivision is generally located at the northeast corner of Old Bartow Lake Wales Road and McLean Road. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, ERPC Peace Creek LLC requests the City Commission accept certain improvements and dedications in favor of the public / City of Winter Haven as noted on the plat for Annabelle Estates. This is a 95.38 plus or minus acre subdivision that includes 324 building lots and 12 common lots. All water lines, sewer lines, and related infrastructure will be owned and maintained by the city. All stormwater and related drainage conveyances and infrastructure, internal roadways, and street lighting will be maintained by the Peace Creek Village Community Development District. On February 24th, 2025, the City Commission approved Resolution R-25-08 for the platting of the Annabelle Estates subdivision. However, certain improvements were not completed at that time. The developer submitted a performance bond in the amount of $860,622.45 to guarantee completion of the required infrastructure and improvements. Incomplete improvements at that time included sanitary sewer, potable water, off-site improvements, and engineering certification. Recent inspections by city staff found all previously incomplete improvements are now complete, and the water, wastewater systems can now be accepted by the city. Staff recommends City Commission approve Resolution R-25-14 and authorize the city manager or designee to take all necessary related actions thereto. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Motion to approve Resolution R 2514.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to R 2514 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, R 2514 is adopted. R 2515, would you read by title only? City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission Resolution R-25-15, a resolution confirming the acceptance of improvements, infrastructure, and dedications in favor of the public/city of Winter Haven, as notated on that certain plat entitled Sunset Hills, recorded in the office of the clerk of the circuit court in Fort Polk County, Florida, in Plat Book 206, pages 30 through 36, Public Records of Polk County, Florida, and authorizing the city manager to release the performance bond posted to guarantee completion of required improvements in infrastructure. General location subdivision is generally south of Old Luzerne Park Road, south of La Quinta Boulevard. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager.
Mayor and City Commissioners, Starlight Homes Florida LLC requests the City Commission accept certain improvements and dedications in favor of the public/city of Winter Haven, as noted on the plat for Sunset Hills, which is displayed on your screen. Subdivision is approximately 45.4 plus or minus acres and includes 162 building lots and 12 common lots. All water lines, sewer lines, and related infrastructure will be owned and maintained by the city. Internal roadways are contained in a 50-foot right-of-way and will be dedicated to the city. On May 28, 2024, the City Commission approved Resolution R-24-26 for the platting of the Sunset Hills subdivision. However, certain improvements were not complete at that time. The developer submitted a performance bond in the amount of $2,351,410.08 to guarantee completion of all required infrastructure and improvements. The incomplete improvements at the time included earthwork, sanitary sewer, potable water, stormwater management, and engineering certification. Recent inspections by city staff found that all previously incomplete improvements are now complete, and the water, wastewater, and reuse utilities can now be accepted by the city. Staff recommends City Commission approve Resolution R-25-15. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve Resolution R-25-15.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to R-25-15 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same side. Hearing none, R-25-15 is adopted. R-25-16, would you read by title only? City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commission. Resolution R-25-16, a resolution approving that certain plat entitled Residences at Winter Haven for filing in accordance with Chapter 177 Florida statutes with specific conditions, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors and establishing an effective date. The general location subdivision is generally located at the northeast corner of the intersection of King Road and Cross Tower Drive. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, Cross Tower Project LLC is requesting final plat approval for Residences at Winter Haven. This is a 15.6 plus or minus acre subdivision that will contain 63 building lots and 5 common lots. Internal roadways are contained within 50-foot rights-of-way and will be dedicated to the city. All water and sewer utilities will be owned and maintained by the city, while all drainage conveyances and stormwater management areas will be maintained by the Homeowners Association. Water service to the subdivision is from the Winter Haven water system, and wastewater will be treated at wastewater treatment plant number 3. There's adequate capacity in these systems to serve the subdivision. The roadway adjacent to the subdivision has sufficient capacity to serve the subdivision upon build-out. The proposed subdivision is consistent with the comprehensive plan and all requirements of Chapter 177 Florida statutes for the platting of land. Staff recommends City Commission approve Resolution R-25-16. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve Resolution R-25-16.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to R-25-16 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Poses by the same sign. Hearing none. Resolution R 2516 is adopted. R 2517, would you read by title only? City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission, Resolution R-25-17, a resolution approving that certain plat entitled Traditions Retail for filing in accordance with Chapter 177 Florida statutes, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors and establishing an effective date. General location subdivision is generally located at the southwest corner of intersection of Eloise Loop Road and Coon Lake Road. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, Blackfin Traditions LLC is requesting final plat approval for Traditions Retail. It's a 5.3 acre parcel, contains 3 lots. Tract A will be dedicated to the city as a rights of way dedication. Water service to the subdivision is from the Winter Haven water system, and wastewater will be treated at Wastewater Treatment Plant 3. There is adequate capacity in these systems to serve the subdivision. Access is from Eloise Loop Road in the future, and in the future from Coon Lake Road. These roadways have sufficient capacity to serve the subdivision upon build out. As mentioned during our workshop review, one of these parcels is under construction at present time to be a convenience store with gas facilities. The proposed subdivision is consistent with the comprehensive plan and all requirements of Chapter 177 Florida statutes for the platting of land. Staff recommends City Commission approve Resolution R-25-17. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve Resolution R-2517.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to Resolution R 2517 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. In the discussion, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none. Resolution R 2517 is adopted. Resolution R 2518, would you read by title only? City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission, Resolution R-25-18, a resolution terminating, abandoning, and releasing 4 15-foot wide utility easements totaling 3,269.41 feet in length, dedicated in favor of the city of Winter Haven as recorded in Official Records Book 2095, page 1806, Book 2090, page 235, Book 2090, page 237, and Book 2095, page 1802, Public Records of Polk County, Florida, authorizing the mayor and other city officials to execute a termination, abandonment, and release of said easements in favor of the city of Winter Haven, Florida, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors and establishing an effective date. General location, the northwest/southeast easements are generally located between 35th Street Northwest and Avenue C Southwest, north of the CSX Railroad line. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, in December of 1981, the city was granted 4 15-foot wide perpetual utility easements of various lengths, totaling 3,269.41 feet for the construction, installation, and maintenance of municipal water mains. The owner of these lands, TBHG LLC, has arranged for the relocation and abandonment of all existing water mains within these easements and is now requesting that the city vacate and release the easements to allow for the construction of the Lake Deer Townhouse development. The city's engineering division and water department have no objections to this vacation request. As part of the redevelopment of this site, any abandoned or inactive water main utilities within that 1981 easement requested to be abandoned will be removed at the developer's expense. New utility easements for the new utilities will be provided in a forthcoming subdivision plat for the Lake Deer Townhouse development. Staff recommends the City Commission approve Resolution 25-18, authorizing the vacation and abandonment of the 1981 utility easements and authorizing the city manager and other appropriate city officials to execute any documents and take any necessary actions related to the vacation requests. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Motion to approve Resolution R-25-18.
Thank you. Our closed commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to Resolution 25-18 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none, Resolution 25-18 is adopted. All right, ordinances, first reading, we won't be voting tonight. The second reading will be on April 28th. Ordinance O-2511, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission, ordinance number O-25-11, an ordinance amending ordinance 23-25, the 2035 Winter Haven Comprehensive Plan, 2035 Future Land Use Map Series by revising the Future Land Use Map Series by assigning neighborhood support future land use to one annexed parcel, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. General location 75 Sage Road. The area covered by this request is 8.64 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, PTP Real Estate Enterprises LLC is requesting the city assign neighborhood support future land use and commercial highway C3 zoning district to an annexed parcel. The parcel totals 8.64 plus or minus acres and was annexed into the city November 25th of 2024. The petitioner intends to develop the property with a medical office. Subject property is located along the Dundee Road mixed-use corridor, which consists of a mixture of industrial, commercial, and residential uses. The property is surrounded by single-family residential to the north, single-family residential and a gas station to the east across Sage Road, a vacant commercial parcel located in unincorporated Polk County to the south across Dundee Road, and a commercial parcel with mobile food vending to the west. In terms of infrastructure, based on 8.64 acres, the maximum potential square footage under the proposed neighborhood support future land use would be 94,090 square feet. The table in your chart, or the table in your fact sheet, shows the potential demand such development would have on water, sewer, and the roadway network surrounding this property. It is noted that supporting water, sewer, and transportation infrastructure contains sufficient capacity at present time to support these requests. However, a final concurrency determination shall be made at the time the property receives site plan approval and is developed. The Planning Commission on May 4th of 2025 heard this item and voted to recommend approval of the requests. One member of the public spoke regarding concerns of the access location on Sage Road and potential uses which would be permitted under the requested zoning. Commissioner Dawson is your liaison to the Planning Commission, I believe was in attendance that evening and can elaborate further as needed on those comments and responses from the Planning Commission and staff. This time, staff recommends the City Commission approve Ordinance 25-11 and will also recommend approval of Ordinance 25-12 on its first reading as a companion ordinance following presentation by the City Attorney for that item. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We will have the second reading on April 28th. However, if there's anyone that would like to speak to this ordinance, may do so at this time. All right, seeing none, ordinance O-2512, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission ordinance number O-25-12, an ordinance amending Chapter 21 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Winter Haven, Florida by assigning commercial highway C3 zoning district to an annexed parcel, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. General location 75 Sage Road. The area covered by this request is 8.64 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager.
It's a companion ordinance that
Yes.
addresses the zoning for the same property.
Okay, thank you. We will have the second reading on April 28th. However, if anyone would like to speak to this ordinance, you can do so at this time. Moving right along, ordinance O-2517, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission ordinance number O-25-17, an ordinance amending ordinance number O-24-44, appropriation of funds for defraying the expenses of the municipal government of the City of Winter Haven for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2024, providing for severability and providing an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, per Florida statutes 166.241, the City Commission may amend its budget by ordinance to appropriate and expend funds that were not anticipated in the approved budget. Due to the encumbrance roll forwards from fiscal year 2024, adjustments to the fiscal year 2025 budget are required. These adjustments are necessary to accurately reflect the remaining funds available after accounting for these commitments. The exhibit within your fact sheet identifies the projects and fund designations where those encumbrances occurred and where they will be addressed through this ordinance. The appropriated governmental funds reflect a budget increase of $3,858,447, offset by encumbrances in the same amount for the respective funds. So this is just carrying forward money that was encumbered but not actually expended in the prior year. Staff recommends the City Commission approve Ordinance 025-17, approving a budget amendment for the encumbered purchase order roll forwards. Thank you.
Thank you. We will have our second reading on April 28th. However, if there's anyone that would like to speak to this ordinance, you may do so at this time. Seeing none, we will move on to new business item 13A. Is the city attorney going to handle it or city manager? All right.
I'll take this one. I was looking to see if Mr. Lyon he is here so he can fill any spots from the Winter Haven EDC that I may pass over. So in 2022 and 2023, the city was awarded 2 separate grants from Florida Commerce and the Florida Department of Transportation, respectively, for the construction of a roadway project that would extend Logistics Parkway from its northern terminus towards Pollard Road to the north. In total, the city was awarded $9,411,612 in state funds for the project. The project's been broken down into 2 phases, with the first construction effort extending from wastewater treatment plant number 3 northward to the CSX rail crossing on Pollard Road. This project was completed in June of 2024, and upon completion of that section and the related expenditures, the city fulfilled its financial obligations associated with the grant issued by Florida Commerce. That grant was in the amount of $6.4 million. The remaining phase addresses the roadway construction from wastewater treatment plant 3 southward to the current northernmost terminus of Logistics Parkway. The original design of this section proposed the new road to be aligned along the northern and most eastern boundary of city-owned property located immediately south of the wastewater treatment plant. Due to the length of that road as designed and the related design elements, the engineer of record's estimate of probable cost was $21.4 million, and that was achieved at the 60% design level. We had worked with the engineer of record to try and identify a more appropriate pathway for that road in hopes to minimize the cost, the construction time frame, and the overall safety. So this became a road that would travel due south through city-owned property, as well as a portion of land owned by Florida Can Manufacturing. To do so, the city would be required to acquire a portion of Florida Can's property. In early 2023, staff began negotiating with Florida Can on a purchase and sale agreement, an amendment to the existing developers agreement between the city and Florida Can, and a right of first refusal and option agreement in favor of Florida Can for the future purchase of certain city-owned land adjacent to the current Florida Can operations. In early 2025, prior to completing the execution of those agreements, FCM completed a sale of their assets at the Intermodal Logistics Center to the Ball Corporation. Staff has continued to work with Ball to finalize this transaction and has now reached agreement on the related documents, which are described as follows. The first is a purchase and sale agreement for real property. You'll note that all of our agreements still reference Florida Can Manufacturing, and that is because Ball purchased the stock interests of FCM. So that name will continue to appear. Per this purchase and sale agreement, the city will purchase plus or minus 4.04 gross acres of land at a price of $105,000 per gross acre. That's a total cost of $424,200. This price was established during the initial negotiations between the city and Florida Can based upon comp sales and land transactions within the ILC at that time. This price also serves as the basis for all land exchanges contemplated by this agreement and any future option purchase that may be exercised as part of the overall transaction. We anticipate that we will close on that transaction and acquire that 4.04 plus or minus acres before May 30th of 2025. The second document is the first amendment to the developers agreement. As part of the original development of the FCM facilities, a developers agreement was executed between the city and FCM to record in the public records of Polk County. It was recorded on June 10th of 2020. That agreement contemplated FCM's participation in the construction and design of certain roadway improvements and the relocation of certain utilities upon meeting development conditions. It further stated that if the city was successful in securing funds from other sources for that roadway and utility relocation, the agreement could be amended. That provision contemplated the ability of the city to release Florida Can from its financial obligations for the roadway and utility relocation if grant funds were secured by the city. As I noted the other evening, we were in the process of applying for those grant dollars at that time. As a result of the city's successful application and award of the grants, it's the desire of both parties to amend the developers agreement as allowed. As previously mentioned, that new roadway alignment will provide greater efficiencies in construction time and cost associated with the project, will further minimize the need to relocate certain utilities. The agreement further contemplates certain design features to support expansion of the FCM operations in the future. Those design considerations include preliminary curb cuts and driveway aprons for access points should the site develop further. The next two documents are the right of first refusal and the option agreement to facilitate development opportunities in and around the ILC. In 2020, the City Commission authorized the disposal and sale of certain city-owned land south of Wastewater Treatment Plant 3 via Resolution 20-36. That property was then rezoned in January of 2020 as a planned unit development. On June 7th, 2020, FCM purchased 79.67 plus or minus acres of that land for the development of those facilities that exist today. The city still retains ownership of 123.33 acres of undeveloped land. As part of the negotiations with FCM for the purchase and sale of a portion of their property necessary for the new road alignment, and in recognition of the fact that that transaction would reduce or otherwise potentially impact FCM's overall developable property, the city included an option for FCM to acquire additional land from the city for future expansion and development. The total acreage of that land as contemplated is 54.36 plus or minus acres. Again, as stated previously, the price per gross acre was established at $105,000 based on comp sales and land transactions within the ILC at that time. To memorialize those negotiations, two documents have been developed. The first is the right of first refusal agreement, and that pertains to any bona fide offer received by the city from a third-party to purchase or lease the same land as defined in the documents and agreements. If the city desires to accept that offer, the city has to notify FCM in writing of the offer. FCM will then have 15 days to exercise the right of first refusal. That right of first refusal automatically expires on the 5th anniversary of the effective date. The second document is the option agreement, which memorializes FCM's option to outright purchase the 54.36 acres absent any bona fide offer to purchase or lease received by the city from a third party. Again, the conditions are the same in terms of the price. It also has a 5-year expiration date on it. If FCM timely exercises its purchase rights under the right of first refusal agreement or under the option agreement, the total purchase price and revenue that would be received by the city is $5,701,500. In anticipation of the city's costs associated with the roadway project, funding in the amount of $8,093,013 specific to the project was included in the Series 2023 bond issuance and has subsequently been budgeted in the transportation fund. Our direct costs associated with land transactions, as I mentioned, will be $424,200 plus any associated closing costs. That will be funded through the line account budgeted for this project. We did receive, I mentioned to you on Wednesday evening during agenda review, We had reached agreement with FCM on all these items. Late Friday afternoon, we received signed copies from them overnighted to us. So everything is ready for execution by the city. We anticipate that we can work to do the closing on the initial property that we are acquiring from them rather quickly, well in advance of the May 30th date. And then we will be ready to go out to bid on the construction phase of this project. I do want to go back and mention that the original design of that roadway on the original alignment, as I said, was $21.4 million. By changing the design to a more straight pathway due south, the project comes in at $10.5 million. So it is a savings of approximately $11 million on the overall project, which I feel is very significant at the end of the day. We have also been able to, just in the past 48 hours thereabout, we received confirmation from FDOT that the completion date for the construction of the project has been extended to align identically with the Florida Commerce completion date, which is January 6th of 2027. That provides us a bit of a cushion in getting the project done within the timeframes established by the grant. So staff recommends that the City Commission approve the agreement for sale and purchase of real property, the First Amendment to the Developers Agreement, the right of first refusal agreement, and option agreement as presented, and authorize the city manager designee to execute each respectively and to take any and all further actions necessary and incidental thereto. And we will stand for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
motion to approve as presented.
thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to this item may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none. Finally,
That is, I just personally want to say thank you to the commission for your support on this. This is something that Bruce Lyon with the Winter Haven EDC, John Murphy, and Drew Crawford with the city attorney's office and I have been working on for well over 2 years, and it is nice to finally bring this in for a landing.
thank you. All right, we'll move to our commission liaison reports, but I'd like to recognize the Boy Scouts that are in attendance. Y'all just stand up so we can see you. All right. I see both of you have a whole lot of merit badges. So what level are you? All right, all right. After life comes Eagle. Yes, all right, congratulations. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Commissioner Mercer.
Okay, I attended the graduation of Big Brothers Big Sisters, and that was very interesting. And the Women's Club at the Library Sensory Garden, I attended that meeting. The Public Safety Annual Awards. I wanted to say thank you to all of those out there. The special ones who did win awards, but also the ones that do it every day and bring life back to people. And so thank you very much. I was downtown on Saturday and it was very lively downtown. They had a lot of things going on. They had the markets and everything. So, I attended the Junior Achievement. Anybody remember Junior Achievement and going to grade school? Yeah, okay. So did I. I was one of those who did that. At the elementary, it was kindergarten nonetheless. And they have their little iPads, and they're about this big. They're small for, but they're very in tune to the iPads. But I was there to talk to them about making good decisions, and they have some books and flashcards and everything like that. We also talked about 3 pennies: a penny earned, a penny saved, and a penny spent. So that was, and another penny was to share, a penny to share. So, and looking at what kindergarten is today with their iPads and this was like a level of a first grader almost. So it was definitely a higher level than I was expecting. So the Ridge League meeting, attended that in Arcadia. I think Brian and I were the only ones. And then also I did attend the little library at the Reuben Williams Sports Center that was put on by the Junior League there. Also attended the Polk TPO, and they have a project called Moving I-4 Forward. And so also another one of their projects is, of course, we had talked about the last time, or one of our previous meetings, about the 4 different routes that they're going to have interstate to 417 eventually, and 5, all the areas, the interstates in Orlando, not only to I-4, but other interstates. And I guess it looks at the last discussion that it will probably come closer to Dundee than what it's going to come to Lake Wells. They have shortened the route. It's a few miles shorter. And so I don't have didn't bring any of the pictures or anything, but so it's right off of 27. It saves, like I said, it saves a few miles of travel and wandering around back through and up. So, and I think that was about it, unless did attend the Heart for Winter Haven Hearts in Bloom event. It was their fundraiser. So that's about it.
Thank you. Commissioner Dawson.
Good evening. It's good to be here tonight, and certainly congratulations to the Lady Blue Devils on an outstanding year. They've made us proud on many occasions, and just a testament to great leadership and great coaching, as well as great support throughout our community. So it's just wonderful to see that tonight. Also, I was able to attend some of the one of the things I was able to attend was I hadn't been to Bach Tower in a number of years, and through leadership Winter Haven, we were there. And I tell you, I remember Bach Tower, but I don't remember it being that nice. So they've done some wonderful improvements, and it's just a serene, beautiful place to hang out. If you're having a bad day, it's a good place to go try to get yourself back together. But just really enjoyed that, and certainly will be telling others, you need to check it out if you haven't been there in a while. Junior League was really exciting, for the library. I was able to see Miss Merle Williams, who the wife of Mr. Reuben Williams, with the park is honored, named after. Just wonderful to see her, as well as her son and daughter. Were there in attendance. Also able to attend the Planning Commission Public Safety Annual Awards ceremony, which was great. They gave away a lot of nice stuff. And I was able to also attend in our mayor's stead, the TPO. First opportunity I've had to be at that. That's quite an interesting process. And you haven't been there before, it's a lot to try to soak in. Nevertheless, we were able to attend and be represented as the city of Winter Haven. I want to say happy Easter to everyone. This is Holy Week, and we know that some of you are aware that we have an annual sunrise service in the park, Martin Luther King Park. Several years ago, Pastor Nagley and I, First Presbyterian, we partnered together with 2 alliances here in Winter Haven,
And we've been holding that for a number of years. And the city has been, I want to say to the city, thank you so much for your support in that effort. It is a wonderful time. You know, we live in a very challenging time in our nation as it relates to, you know, divisions and issues of that nature. And when we have something like this that brings people together, and you wonder sometimes whether or not people really appreciate this. And, you know, but people will say, you know, I really enjoy being there and coming out and being a part of that. We will be honored this year. Dr. Steve Nagley will be bringing the word, sharing the Easter message. And he's been a wonderful friend and just a brother beloved. I really appreciate him. I look forward to hearing what he will share on sunrise. That will begin at 6:30, of course, at Martin Luther King Park, there in the amphitheater. And come out and let's watch the sunrise and hear a wonderful message. God bless.
Commissioner Dantzler?
Okay. Today, I actually went down here to the county tennis tournament. I don't know if you guys have seen all that's going on, but the boys and girls are having their county tennis tournament. If you want to feel good about yourself, go down there and hang around a little bit. And for those of you that aren't tennis players, which is probably a lot, we do have a player, Ben Saltman, who is the pro son, who is regretfully signed a scholarship to go to FSU next year or 2 years. I told him, don't feel bad. Not everybody can get into Florida, but that's okay. No, but he's a good kid. I remember when he was born, I watched him come up through the ranks. He's playing tomorrow, and he's playing a kid. I mean, Ben will win most likely, but he's playing a kid that is, he won today 6-0, 6-0. I'm just trying to tell you, he's, you know, most of his matches are rather quick, because he's that good. But if anybody wants to see a really good tennis player in a Winter Haven phenom, he's going to be playing tomorrow over here. And the girls are playing and the boys are playing. Everybody's over there, got food. It's just a good, fun atmosphere for anybody that wants to go over there and kind of hang out a little bit. But tomorrow's the last day. Also, I went to the fishing derby this Saturday. And to those of you that, primarily the commissioners, if none of y'all ever been down to our Lake Howard Park down there with all the improvements that we've done, that is a really, really cool place. And they do a fishing tournament every year. Well, not every year, several years. I go every year to kind of watch them. And the kids have so much fun. It's kudos to our staff for putting that on. It's an exercise park, and it's just a really cool place that I don't think gets a lot of props, but it should, because it's a beautiful, neat place. And the kids, I saw a kid catch a little bass, and it was about this big, and he thought he'd caught Moby Dick. It was just like his friends were running around. I'm like, throw him back, and they were carrying him all around. It was so funny to watch him. Back on my soapbox about the field house. I love the field house, and I just want to remind everybody what a good thing we did. I went to a volleyball tournament. I played tennis, and I went there and I worked out. You couldn't even find a parking place because the volleyball tournament was packed. It was 3 deep on the top level. You could not find a place to sit. It was girls volleyball, and they were just people everywhere having a great time. I went home, came back that night, went to the play, and I think it was called Diner or something. Waitress. It's like, it was about a diner. Waitress at a diner. Getting old's terrible. But Waitress is like all the rage now on Broadway. Everybody wants that play, and Theater Winter Haven got it. So another one of those kudos to Dan, about what a great job we do. It actually gave that play to Theater Winter Haven. So I was at the field house quite a bit. I also was invited to teach a class, or not a class, to talk on Bay News 9 about financial literacy for kids. You were talking about children. And I was on Bay News 9 with the state director of the United Way. And we had a really good dialogue, and it's running now, so you never know when you might see me on there for the next week, but it's running quite a bit. And it was kind of fun, actually. And they, apparently it was pretty well received by the people at Bay News 9. So but it's going off right now. Also got to go to the last game for David Saliba. I don't know if anybody knows David Saliba, but David Saliba was a baseball player at Winter Haven High School, star player in the 70s. He came back and became the Winter Haven High School baseball coach for 30 years, parted ways, ended up going over to Santa Fe, built a championship team over at Santa Fe, and he finally retired this weekend. Last game, last teaching, not going to teach. He's not going to coach or anything. And it was over at Santa Fe, and I just drove over there to pat him on the back and congratulate him. And it was packed. There was people everywhere because David had really affected a lot of people through his many, many years. And he lives in Winter Haven, still a big Winter Haven guy, but good to see him and say goodbye to him as well. And then last but not least, I went to Sun and Fun Fly-In with the TDC, got to watch the Blue Angels take off and land and do their thing. Always one of my favorite things. Oh, and I'm trying to figure out, because Bach Tower, you talked about Bach Tower. I go there at least once a week. They have a sunrise service as well. It's beautiful watching the sun come up. And I think they're at 7:30 and you're at 6:30. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do both because I'm not really a morning person. But anyway, you're right. Bach Tower is a great place. And I'm really glad that you told me that road's going to miss them, because that would be a tragedy if that place got disturbed in any way because of some silly road. But anyway, that's it.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Nothing additional to report tonight.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you know, you and I are almost in the same boat, because this time last week I was at the Final Four in Texas, San Antonio. So, but I did have a few things. I actually had my hands put at the Montessori school on the wall. They're doing a wall where they put your hands and then you sign your name and a message. And so I did that. Went to the ribbon cutting for the little library at the Reuben Williams Park. Thoroughly enjoyed that. And I also came downtown for Relays for Life that took place. And finally, I went to Hartford Winter Haven's fundraiser. In the Lawrenceville CDC, we had our banquet, which was Thursday night, and our keynote speaker was none other than the city manager of Winter Haven. And again, we'd like to thank you for a good message. That's it for me. City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission, nothing this evening.
City Manager?
Just a reminder, the commission will be in a strategic momentum session this Wednesday all day. That will be held at the Garden Center, and half a day on Thursday. We hope to have you out in advance of noon on Thursday. That will be no real objective with that other than to give you updates on where we are, talk about the current state of affairs here in Winter Haven specifically, but also how activity at the state and federal level is likely to influence some decision-making going forward. We'll also begin talking about our budget priorities for fiscal year 26. So we look forward to seeing you on those days. We'll keep you engaged, and hopefully we'll all walk away with a good sense of direction and updates on where we are within the strategic plan. And thank you for giving us the time to do that with you. That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Deputy City Manager?
Nothing this evening, sir. Thank you.
City Clerk?
I just want to wish everyone a happy Easter.
Deputy City Clerk? Emergency matters not received for the agenda? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.